It's a BumbleKast Mini, sponsored by Nondle.
All right, and these questions are actually crowdsourced from STHG, so this is going to be interesting. Are you and or Sega trying to hide Amy's affection for Sonic? I've seen people show concern at how aggressively it seems to be suppressed, to the point it feels like it's trying to be made out to be a secret, which people aren't keen on.
For my part, I just want it to not be her singular motivation, her singular personality trait, but it is part of who she is. So I feel like it should be acknowledged. But Sega is in general trying to skew away from open relationshipy stuff right now. I don't know if I'd call it suppressed, kind of a harsh word, but it's not the focal point right now.
All right. And the next question is, what is Sasha Cat, introduced in Sonic Universe number 5, newscaster, doing right now?
That's the thing. Sasha debuted well before that. She was one of the orphan trio, along with Rory and Snaggle. And, having her be a newscaster in the future that's where she is now. She got growed up and got a career.
She dang done got a job. Heck yeah. Besides Sonic and Tails, which character would you give a rival-like character to, and what would make that character be a rival?
I'm tempted to say Knuckles, just because he is so combative, and I like Knuckles, so I want him to have more of a supporting cast to do more with. But he already has Rouge and he already has Storm, that we could work with that.
Yeah.
So I'd say Amy. I give Amy someone to bounce off of, give her someone to have a dichotomy against, give her someone to run parallel ones against in her own adventures, and really just let Amy kind of spin out and do her own thing.
Yeah.
Overall.
It feels like Surge could fit that role. Or a character
maybe,
like Surge.
Maybe, but Surge is already so hyper fixated and built around Sonic that
yeah.
Transitioning her to Amy almost feels like a hand-me-down.
Right,
I want someone constructed specifically to be a mirror to Amy so that we could get a better understanding of who she is, a foil to everything that makes Amy Amy.
Although that hyperfixation on Sonic is reminiscent of Amy's older characterization, so that could be an interesting thing you could
maybe
go with too. So, but I'm just thinking of your character like Surge, not necessarily Surge herself, but in that same vein. Ian, with your involvement in the lore team, what does that mean for people asking character and lore related questions in the future? Are we to expect that many of these questions cannot be answered on the BumbleKast? Should we still ask them so that you're made aware of what fans want to know about? Or should we save our money and your time for other types of questions going forward? If the BumbleKast is not the place to ask lore questions anymore, what would be the best place for fans to express their desire to know more about the story and world of the franchise moving forward?
You can still ask here, and I will do the best I can. Anything that I feel like is going to step on toes, I will, say as much and try to dance around it as best I can. I feel like we've hit all of the really big speed bumps so far. I say tempting fate, so somebody asks something else that I can't answer, but I don't know. I honestly can't say, because the lore of Sonic is so vast and has so many facets to it. It's very hard to quantify.
Right.
So, and really it's me putting myself in the spotlight, because now I have to appease both those of you who are listening out here and not step on the toes of my bosses. So why I thought this was a good idea, I don't know, but we're going to commit to the bit.
We're here. We're stuck. This is it. You're stuck with me.
Asking me questions is a good way to, prompt stuff. It's like, oh, hey, I hadn't thought of that. I'll bring it up at the next meeting. I got this question about this idea, and this kind of coincides with what we're doing in the group. And there you go. But otherwise, go through the social media channels. They are active and incredibly responsive and attentive. They may not respond to you directly because they get a lot of input, but whether it's Twitter or the YouTube channel, or I forget what else they have out there, but politely and respectfully respond to them saying, I'd like to see more of this, or I have questions about this. I want a Tales tube about this, or whatever. And that might actually cause something to happen.
I want a Tales tube of Tales just playing video games. How do I get that? I want Tales to just stream some video games, I don't need all this lore crap. I just need Tales having fun streaming games. Why not? A few months ago, you sounded like you weren't a fan of Sonic being exclusively reactionary. My question is, what would you want to do with Sonic that goes against this direction?
I can't remember the context of this in particular. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't remember.
Well, I mean, you mentioned that you've mentioned before that the current direction for Sonic is that he only reacts. He doesn't act first. He's always the reactor. So
yeah.
So I think that's what they're talking about.
I'd like him to just whatever makes sense in context, Like if there is a clear and immediate threat that will come to the horizon, not just sit back and go, not my problem. And then it becomes a problem and then he solves it. It's, maybe he actively seeks out friends to see if they need help, or maybe he knows that this area is a bit of a problem zone. So he goes to check it out to make sure, just in case Eggman isn't, drilling to the center of the earth or something. He doesn't have to necessarily be on patrol. He doesn't have to be the policeman of the planet. That's not his style. But maybe show a little bit of initiative, a little bit of forethought instead of just, I'm relaxing on a beach or I am running to the next beach. Oh, those animals are being plugged into robots again. Better stop that.
All right. How specific of a vision should a comic writer have? How specific are your visions and scripts for what the artist should do? If an artist gets something not quite right, do you correct it or bring it up with editorial or something? Or even have the chance to do that? What's it like to navigate that team process?
It really varies from project to project, from deadline to deadline, title to title, issue to issue, to be honest. When writing a script for, an art team, you need to find that balance of clarity and brevity. You don't want to just say Sonic runs up a building or, Sonic runs in the scene. What direction? Is there other things going on? What is the setting? Are there any perils? Is he saying anything? Is he emoting anything? What is the context? At the same time, you don't want to have 3-block paragraphs explaining the minutia of every bolt getting knocked out of that badnik when he stomps on it. That doesn't help. So you have to have a clear idea of how it's going to fit on the page and take out as much guesswork as possible for the art team so that they understand what you're trying to do and what they can put down. Sometimes I have a very precise idea of how it would play out on the page. Sometimes it works. Sometimes no. I don't understand what I'm talking about. And sometimes I don't have a very specific idea. So I, say as much, here's what needs to happen on the page. I entrust you to do it as you see fit. And to a degree, you have to just have faith in the rest of the team to do it right. You send it out into the void and it gets created. And most of the time, I don't see the finished product until it's out. Sometimes I get to do a bit of review if there's time before it goes to the printer, just to say, here's an error, here's an error, here's an error, or, this isn't colored right or whatever. And most of the time, unless it's like hugely flagrantly wrong, I'm not going to say anything because 1, we don't have time, and 2, it's, how the artist interprets it. Unless it's like a direct contradiction to whatever's going on between like dialogue and scene, just kind of let it be, let it do, let it roll.
All right. Sonic is just a guy who loves adventure, right? But him saving the world has to make him a celebrity. What bad habits would the general population pick up from him that could cause a TMZ-like controversy?
Well, I mean, the world seemed to collectively mistake him for Shadow and vice versa. So the world populace is kind of dumb.
Well, I mean, yeah, but what about in Sonic?
One of these days, you're going to bite the hand that feeds a little too hard, Kyle. It's gonna slap us.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to insult the entire world, yeah. Yeah, like they're going to notice.
I imagine Sonic is a bit of a world celebrity. I mean, how many times does he have to save the planet?
Yes.
To get some recognition? But he also doesn't, stick around for that celebrity status. He doesn't do red carpet events. He doesn't do interviews. He doesn't hang out and hobnob. He's constantly on the move.
Mm-hmm.
And his friends, to a degree, I feel like get a little overlooked. And two, they also don't really seek the limelight. So I imagine he kind of walks the fine line of an aloof celebrity and being a cryptid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you pretty much nailed it. But I guess there was one part in Sonic X, an episode of Sonic X, where everyone starts sleeping on their roofs to mimic him. So that's probably very irresponsible.
Well, I mean, there's also Sonic Man, He devoted his entire life to being Sonic.
To say, Sonic Man, yeah, that's probably also very irresponsible.
If we're going to get any TMZ style controversies, it's going to be the people who are influenced by Sonic.
Yeah.
And do it in all the wrong ways. It's not going to be him himself.
Yeah. And having been a fan of Sonic since 1991, I can safely say that Sonic is a very bad influence. You don't want his influence anywhere.
What's wrong about eating nothing but chili dogs and running around naked? Come on, Kyle. Perfectly fine way to live.
In only socks, shoes, and gloves. Yeah. Yeah. Paint your body blue. Don't do that. Please don't do that. That's bad. If you could add the IDW newcomers like Tangled, Jewel, Starline, and more to the two existing storybook universes, or write completely new storybook-style stories, what classic roles and characters would you like to see them play?
I don't want to tinker with Black Knight. That was fine as it is. And at that point, you're just kind of expanding upon the Knight roster, and I don't know if you really need that.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar enough with the breadth of 1001 Arabian Nights to say with any kind of authority. You can maybe do like the Robin Hood mythos, bringing everybody in. There's plenty of merry men to supplement the crowd. Have Starline as your Sheriff of Nottingham.
Would Whisper be Robin Hood?
Maybe. I mean, Sonic would have to, if we're doing a new storybook, Sonic would become the Robin Hood driving force.
I guess he would, yeah.
I'm seeing big as Little John.
Oh no, not Robbo the Hedge.
No. Maybe Tangle is Alan Aquale? Or no, Alan, what was his name? Alan, it's been so long since I did research for the other stuff. But the minstrel of the group, she would have fun singing "Hey Nani Nani." I mean, you can't have Jewel be made merry, and that's got to be Amy. I mean, come on, that's built in. Maybe one of her ladies in waiting. I don't know.
What is Rouge doing? She likes to steal. She steals from the rich, but she don't give back to the poor.
That's what I'm saying. You can have a lot of the characters be the ancillary merry men.
I guess that's true, yeah. This feels like an alternate universe for Sonic Prime. But it is not, sadly. Could be. Is there any other characters?
I'm sure there are. I'm just drawing a blank.
Yeah.
I was thinking, how would you do Treasure Island? Or could you do Treasure Island? Like, Eggman as Long John Silver kind of just seems a given. And then Sonic is like, do I trust him? Can I go along with his adventure, or is he going to betray me? Ah, there's a betrayal.
We've already done Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, that one covers a lot of bases.
Yeah, we talked about that one. That would be fun, though.
You could mine the Greek and Roman myths, because there's like a role for everybody in there. You just have to come up with a cohesive narrative.
Mm.
And that's probably, grab a few of the myths and just stitch them together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some ideas in there. Will there be more classic comics that aren't milestones? If so, can we expect Honey or the Battle Cuckoos to appear soon?
I don't know. I hope so. I would love it if we just got a classic ongoing, a sister book.
Ooh, don't tease me, bro. I want that. I want that too.
I honestly don't know. And I don't know about Honey. I don't know about the Battle Cuckoos. It all depends on what IDW and Sega can handle bandwidth-wise, what they feel like there is sufficient interest for, who's pitching for those projects. I don't know.
What day it is, how the person approving it feels at the time, whether they've had their coffee for the day or anything. I mean, it's like there's a zillion factors involved. But I'm hopeful. Dang it, I'm hopeful. Will there be more Fighting Vipers cameo characters like Pain the Boar? Can you even use her? Or different Sonicified characters from various Sega properties?
Probably not. Pain was Diana Skelly's brainchild. Like, she just put that in there on her own, and it was great. But that was not part of the original script, and I don't know if it got, flagged for review. It might have just been, here's the thing. Let's not point it out.
Don't think about it too hard.
In general, Sega isn't really wild about us referencing other properties, and that's primarily because of licensing.
There's a lot of licensing, issues.
Yeah, like the occasional little Easter eggy thing hidden in there, maybe it's okay, we turn a blind eye to it, but IDW is only paying for the Sonic license. Incorporating other licenses to any degree, especially if it's a dedicated Lampoon character, that skirting line. And it's one of the reasons why Honey is kind of a problem character, because she is basically a parody character. So I don't know. It all depends on how folks are feeling when things get approved. But I don't know how it'll fall out. We'll see.
How did you figure Marine's secret prowess was really aquakinesis?
Well, I mean, her name is Marine. The entire game is built around aquatic travel. And the principal character she's linked to is a pyrokinetic. I mean, it's nothing concrete, but to me, it feels like all roads lead to Rome here.
Yeah, I don't know how much concrete there actually is, considering everything's water, so. What are you sighing about? You would do the same thing. I'm just channeling my inner Ian Flynn. And our final question. What order should the egg memos be listened to? It's unclear if they're in chronological order.
Gosh, I'd have to see a listing of them again.
I guess this technically could be Frontier spoilers. We're not going to give you what the contents are of the egg memos. But
for the most part, they're already in chronological order from what I remember. The character-specific ones make sense per island. So the memo about Amy would happen around the time Sonic reaches Kronos Island. The Knuckles entry would about the time Sonic reaches Ares Island, etc., etc. And Sage, the memos about Sage would be interspersed with the main glut of memos leading up in reasonable order, but it's really hard to say without having the list in front of me, and I don't want to say just keep hopping back and forth in the list. That's a little tedious. So as it is, it's fairly straightforward and it's all right.
Yes. I would also advise, though, that you should not listen to all of them before you get off the first island. So just as a fair warning.
There's that too.
Yeah. This is I know it's probably late for this. I think I said it, though, not too long after it came out, though, when we were first time we talked about it. It's like, don't listen to all of them immediately. Just don't listen to them.
Might be better just listen to them by Island 5, to be honest.
Yeah, just wait a little bit, and then you get some. That's like a very strange thing that you can unlock them all like practically immediately, and then there's like no sense of continuity or understanding of the context or anything, and it's like, okay. So I think listening to them by the time you're on the second island is okay, but don't listen to them first. So anyway, that's it. That's all we got for this edition of BumbleKast Mini.
Thank you, Fernando, for sponsoring this BumbleKast Mini. If you want one of your own, head over to patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, or become a YouTube member.
We'll see you in the next one.